Hey, gals, guys, and otherwise, welcome to Commentary Edition, the show where I talk unscripted, unedited, all that good stuff. Today, we're going to be talking about my second video ever. Wow. Up versus Arrival, Simplification versus Realism, which was actually added to the title later. It was originally hashtag same movie, but you know, I got to seem all smart and fancy, so I changed the title. Let's jump into this click. So this opening DVD menu screen thing, I could not find stock footage for it anywhere. You would think that it exists, but I had to make that from scratch in After Effects. And because I'm a cruel monster, that DVD thing never hits the corner of the screen perfectly. I could have done it, but I'm a mean human being that feels no joy and wants to have other people feel equally no joy. So, like I said, this is my second video, and I think going back to it now, it's obviously very joke heavy up front. It takes me like, I don't remember, like 4 or 5 minutes to get to the actual thesis of the video, what the video is actually about, because I don't really think that Arrival and Up are identical films. There are a lot of absolutely bizarre similarities, but no, they're not the same movie. But they do cover a lot of the same subject matter, and that was a really good excuse to talk about some stuff I want to talk about. So this shot here is as long as it is, A, to make the title card here more surprising, and B, because I realized if someone who hadn't seen Up was watching this video, for the scrapbook to hit them emotionally later on without even having seen the movie, I needed to establish the significance of that scrapbook. So that's why that is as long as it is. God, kids movie, so sad. Again, this is all created in After Effects. The sound effects were, I was able to find the DVD sound effects, but actually no, that's a CD player sound effect. None of it. There's just no DVD is gonna die to history eventually. No one will remember what it is, except for this video. It's a memorial. So anyway, yeah, I think the jokes they're just too many, and I was still trying to find that balance, because make stuff videos for me are trying, like, I just want to do everything. I want to be entertaining and emotional and educational and inspirational, and this one goes a little too hard on entertaining, but then again, I'm not going to say that entertaining is a bad thing. It's just a different kind of video than I normally do. And right here is where I feel like I actually found my vision for these videos. My aesthetic, my approach to them is with this consistent background with the slight gradient on it, these moving things with the color, or with the drop shadows on them, and you get that, for the most part, you get that blue background throughout the whole video, which helps with a lot of things. One, it gives it this cohesive aesthetic. I think that a lot of video essays that are just using footage from whatever they're talking about throughout the whole thing gets pretty boring visually, because you're just watching the movie out of order with no sound. This at least gives it that sort of cohesive look to the whole thing, so that now when I think of Up versus Arrival, I think, oh, that's the sky blue video. Same with This Is America, that's the black and white video. I had that a little bit with the Hamilton video, but it with the parchment paper in the background, but was not consistent with that at all. So yeah, this is the origin of the look of Make Stuff. Oh my gosh. So finding these examples was so complicated, because I literally had to like memorize every shot in Up, and then mentally cross-reference every one of those shots with every shot in Arrival to try to remember, like, oh yeah, there's that misty part in Up, there's the lights, there's the opening door, all this stuff, that, like, just to find any scraps of similarity for these dumb jokes. And this is the holy grail: the amount of interview reading and Wikipedia diving it took to find the Tilda Swinton link between these two films was not insignificant. And thank God for this Up music. That's perfect for this situation. Who was it? Now, if you watch through the entire This Is America video, Tilda Swinton might make an appearance. And this is lessons from the screenplay reference. If you watch my videos, there's a pretty good chance you watch Michael Tucker's videos. And I'm not directly attacking. I love lessons from the screenplay, but I do think that it is weird. I hear a lot of people saying that like his videos are good because he quotes like scholarly sources, but like McKee's story and stuff like, Save the Cat, and here's finally we have the thesis 5 minutes and 40 seconds in. But books like that are saying like, these are the rules of story and screenwriting and all this stuff. Like, no, it's subjective. Every rule that they give you, there's going to be a million examples of how that rule is broken very effectively and for the good sake of the film. And I think that's very good to reference those things when you want that common vocabulary, like I do with the Creative Hooks video. And I think it's good to reference those things if you want to, give someone credit for creating this idea, this concept, or if you want to remember the music that just played for this. I'll get to that in a second. Or if you want to if someone's created a concise way to say what you're trying to say, then yeah, quote them. But there are no scholarly sources for good story. That's subjective. Now, that music that played for this stuff versus other stuff was created in a browser-based Mario Paint music creator. And it's not easy to use. It only does like 8 bars. And I had to create each level of that song with each instrument, record the desktop audio individually, and then mix it in the thing. It's such a pain, but it was free to do, except for my time. So I'm talking about Understanding Comics here, which is one of my favorite books ever. And it was so useful for tying these films together to have a really good talking point, because I knew I wanted to talk about Up and Arrival, but I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to approach it until I reread Understanding Comics and came across all of the Simplification versus Realism. And Understanding Comics is so incredibly good, and it's almost like a philosophy book meets a psychology book, but it's about comics, and it's none of that stuff where it's like, this is how you tell a good story. It's literally getting into like the psychology of how we react to different images and how time affects comics and all this crazy stuff. So this is where I obviously get a bit more emotional and dark, and I cried so much having to watch these movies so many times. They're devastating. It was not a good idea. So my approach with these videos is just to convey the emotions that the subject matter makes me feel. I want the audience to feel those same emotions. That is my whole goal with everything. And that's why Hamilton is so emotional, the video I made, because I'm just trying to convey how heartbreaking that video is to me. And boy, this sounds really pretentious, but I majored in philosophy for a while, and I learned 2 things from that really helped these videos: how to construct a foolproof argument, And the fact that it's the fact that you don't respond to someone just telling you a philosophical concept. You don't respond to someone saying, "Oh, this is wrong and you shouldn't do it." You respond to context. Like that's how humans respond to things and internalize things is context and emotions. And I noticed that the philosophy books that were all just like jargon and like hyper drawn out, super thorough sentences, stuff like Hume and stuff, where it's all stuff like, if it's stuff I agree with and I find fascinating, it still takes me 10 minutes to get through a paragraph of it, and it's killing me, and it's so hard to retain. But then you have stuff like Where Am I by Daniel Dennett, and even like the works of like, Woody Allen or Westworld or Arrival, where the philosophy is portrayed through storytelling, and that just sticks with you. And that's why my videos are about certain, properties, franchises and stuff, is because that's how people can relate to those philosophical concepts. And so that's always been my goal, is to teach through storytelling and make the things that I'm passionate about resonate through the things that other people are passionate about. Man, this is heartbreaking. Oh, it's such a good movie. I sincerely think this was the first movie I cried during. Seeing Up for the first time. It was beautiful. But yeah, I just love these movies, and some might call it a cop-out, but I do say that you can go either direction, realism or simplification, and it's okay, and both of those are valid for different reasons. And I know the internet hates to think of anything in a non-polarizing way, where black and white, one thing's always better than the other, but that I really wanted that to be the takeaway for this, is just, here are so many approaches that you can take. If anything, I'm not trying to restrain people of, this is what you do wrong, this is how, never do this. I want to show people, oh, here's a million other things you can do. And this is my favorite ending to a video ever, and I will never top it. What? And that cut to, this video is demonetized because I have that cut to the music from Up. It's just so funny to me. It's such a good song. Michael Giacchino's score for this. I need to do a video just on Michael Giacchino. He's perfection. But yeah, I'm still incredibly proud of this video. Like I said, it struggles with some pacing stuff, but I think it's still very entertaining watch, and still has a great ratio of likes to dislikes. Hopefully it'll take off at some point. All those Up versus Arrival heads out there dying for that content, just waiting to find this one. Go to that coffee. Hey, don't go to the coffee. Go to the you already know this. You're on the Patreon. Or if you want to go to the coffee, I don't care. Is it Kofi? Coffee? Who knows? So yeah, this video is not always have to have the thing at the end. This video is not my most watched video by a long shot, but it is one of my most well loved, and I'm very grateful for that. And it's a fun time. It's a fun time. I'm really proud of it. And I'm really proud of you for sticking it out through this whole commentary. I hope you learned at least, I'm going to say 4 things, because that's probably all I talked about. Thank you for watching. Thank you for patronizing me. What? Sure. And as always, Go make stuff. Yeah, come in. What? Tilda Swinton? You're right here in my room? I'm bad at acting? That, like, you're in my room? Well, I guess you would know. You're a great actress. What? You're here to murder me because that's the end of the conspiracy? Wow, what resolution? Thanks, bye. Bleh.